Hello, my name is Tammy, and welcome back to Tammy Vision. Today I am going to discuss Charm City, Episode 7, Boomerang. Let's get into it. So, with the title alone, we know that things are about to boomerang. We know that things are about to come full circle. So, the episode opens with Charm in a monologue about when she knew she wanted to be a fashion designer. And I think that this is very important because we all have a passion. Some of us know our passions earlier on. Some of us are just starting to find out, and some of us are seeking what our passion is. But when it hits you, it hits you. And it's always nice to remember what sparked that passion. What was the moment when you knew? So for Charm, she talks about when she was a little girl and she found her favorite stuffed animal wrangled up in the washing machine. And she talks about how she found a needle and thread around the house and how she instinctively knew what to do. She knew that she wanted to fix it and she sewed him back together. And she knew that she wanted to be a fashion designer because she likes to fix things. She likes to make things beautiful. She likes to make things whole again. And I think it was just a nice moment for her to remember her why and to remember why she should continue to follow her dreams. So in this episode, it's Beverly's birthday, and you see the front office decorations, and you see that Raven is in a frenzy as usual. But even though she tries to play it down like she's just decorating and getting ready for Beverly's birthday, that it's no big deal, you can tell that Raven went all out for Beverly's birthday, or at least she wanted to. Because if you've been watching this season, you know that Raven looks up to Beverly. Raven wants to please Beverly. Raven doesn't feel that she's good enough for Beverly, which makes it all the more sad that when Beverly does show up, she doesn't want to celebrate her birthday at all. But Raven did say that Beverly doesn't like to celebrate her birthdays, which is true. But we also know that Beverly did get a call earlier that morning that rocked her world and frazzled her. So, coming off the phone call that Beverly had with her lawyer, she is now in the conference room with the girls, telling them that a fashion show that was supposed to be held weeks from now, maybe a couple of weeks from now, is now going to be held this week. So, this makes everyone's head spin, especially Raven's, who strongly opposed Beverly in front of the other girls, which is not cool with Beverly, but she opposes the idea because Raven has been in the fashion industry long enough and she's been at Embolden magazine long enough to know that it takes weeks to put together a fashion show of this magnitude. And she does realize that this has the potential to be a complete catastrophe. So she puts her foot down against Beverly, and we see Raven assert some dominance here. So Raven then follows Beverly to her office and they have a full on argument about this rushed fashion show. And we kind of see Raven stand up to Beverly and assert herself instead of just being talked at by Beverly or talked down by Beverly and just being this scolded, hurt person after Beverly, dismisses her. You can tell that Raven is getting tired of kind of being pushed around and talked over. You can see her stepping into her power. You can see the shift. You can tell that she's not so afraid of Beverly anymore. And I think in the scene individually, Raven was fighting for respect, and Beverly is fighting to keep her multi-million-dollar company alive. But together, I think they are both fighting for principle. A lot of the times in the scenes with Raven and Beverly, you see Beverly kind of being up here and Raven being kind of down here. But in this scene, you see woman to woman and they're both here. Now, also in this scene, Beverly does appoint Charm as project manager, and we all know that that kind of means something. We know it's coming down to it, and that eventually Beverly knows she has to make a decision. So Beverly is applying pressure. And one thing that I do want to point out about Beverly, she is reminiscent of these strong female characters that are very bold and very stern and have very thick skin. But in this scene, we do see her hold her composure, but when Raven leaves the room, we see her almost kind of exhale. We kind of see like underneath all that hard exterior, things are starting to get to Beverly. Beverly is not as hard as she seems. So moving along, Raven gathers the girls. She kind of gives them their roles for this project, kind of the same roles that they had in the last project. She puts them where they are the strongest. Even though Charm is the project manager, Raven knows that it's all going to fall on her, whether they do good or bad. So she puts them where she knows that strategically they can do well. And in this scene, I do want to point out when Raven is talking to Charm, she's talking about the models and the fashions and the clothes that they will be wearing during the show. Charm states that she can get some clothes mailed from home, some designs that she made when she used to make clothes. Now, this is important because if you remember in episode 1, Charm was sitting around the house playing Monopoly. She was not doing her fashion passion, which we know is a reason for that. But just hearing her say, when I used to make clothes, lets us know how at one point Charm was so removed from her passion, but we still need to know why. So moving along to the next scene, we have Blasi and Charm working together to take photos of the models, to do fittings, and it was kind of nice to see Charm and Blasi kind of work together. Now, these two never really clashed, so it was kind of refreshing to see through Blasi's lens that even though we're competitors, they kind of like each other. Like Blasi and Charm get along really well and they work really well together. And also in this scene, Charm lets it be known to Blasi that, what's going on with you? I saw you in the hotel, that the one that I'm living in right now. Why are you not living in your home, and where's your car? And Flossie kind of evades a little bit, but she does kind of let Charm know that she no longer is in her house and she no longer has her car. And I think the nice thing about this scene that Blasi noticed about Charm was that although Charm knows that there is more to the story, Charm did not probe and Charm did not come with judgment. She kind of allowed Blasi to reserve her truth and say, hey, since we're living in the same hotel, you can ride with me. And I think Blasi was impressed or touched by Charm's kindness, is because what Blasi has been going through lately, she's been dealing with someone, her father's fiance, that has not been treating her very well and having to lose her home, having to lose her car. She is starting to show gratitude for things that maybe she hadn't showed gratitude for before, which are the things like kindness and people just saying thank you and do you need help. And I think that Blasi is really starting to bloom. So in the second to last scene, we see Avery walking back from the venue, walking to her car, and we see that Avery's car window is burst. And if you've been watching the season, you have a pretty good idea of who did this and why and what this is affiliated with. So I chose this to be the second to last scene because it's reminiscent of the title of the episode, Boomerang. Things are coming full circle. We know what Avery got herself into in the very beginning of the season, and she's been ducking and dodging, and things are starting to come back around. Things that people are dodging and running away from is catching back up to them to the point where they can no longer run from it. The thing with Beverly and her friend that she grew up with, and who actually came up with the idea of Emboldened Magazine, that's catching up with Beverly. Raven and this battle with wanting to be good enough, wanting to appease Beverly or other people, in which we know the true battle is Raven against herself. Raven needs to feel good enough for Raven. And then we have Blasi, who's been battling her status of wealth and battling, losing her wealth with her father and her father's fiance, just battling who am I as a person. She's lost her home, she's lost her car. Now Blasi is about to step into who Blasi is for real. And in the last scene, we have Charm, who's in the sewing room. But instead of going inside of it, she's kind of halted and she is kind of haunted with these memories, these flashes of something traumatic that has happened to her. And we know that it's something that deals with her father that we have not yet learned what it is yet. But whatever it is linked to Charm's father. It's linked to why Charm abandoned her passion for fashion for a while. It is linked to why Charm, when it comes to this subject and topic, she shies away and she's almost paralyzed in this moment because whatever it is so traumatic for her. But the reason that this episode was titled Boomerang, because when you throw a boomerang, it comes back to you, and maybe you throw it back. When it comes back to you, maybe you duck or dodge it, or maybe someone else threw a boomerang and it ends up hitting you, but it's not yours. But for Charm, she has yet to have her boomerang hit her. Hers is coming back more slowly, but nevertheless, it is coming back around. And whatever this is, she has to deal with it because it is dealing with her and it is catching up with her. And if you tie the beginning monologue with the ending monologue, Charm speaks about how she promised the universe that she would pursue fashion, but at one point she abandoned it. And it looks like the universe is coming back and saying, hey, you promised me, what's up with that? I'm going to need you to keep your word. So this is all coming full circle and leading up to our last 3 episodes. We are going to see everything unfold, and we are going to see that through all the adversity, who will come out on top. So the questions that I will leave with you today are: number one, if you and a friend think of an idea together, but only one of you decide to pursue that idea, is it stealing from the other friend? And the last thing that I will put out here for you is we have to be careful what we say and do and what we put out there. Whatever you put out there, we know that it's going to come right back around to us. So what is something that you did put out there that you want to come back to you that hasn't yet? Please leave your thoughts and comments below in the comments section. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in episode 8.